By a baby. Well, it's interesting we talked about that at the time of the Christ child, but how about that? In ways that unfolded themselves slowly in my life, like a rare and precious flower, another petal unfurled this week. When I read 2 recent accounts from women, I would be far more like if I had figured out faster how to keep my womb sterile as I had planned. So let's look at the 2 ladies that she encountered recently. One's a 35-year-old. She embarked on as a creative, cycling through the West Coast cities and boyfriends in ways that may sound glamorous. And this is what's dangled out in front of our daughters if we got them in school and in society. This is what they dangle out there. Oh, it's so wonderful, these glamorous careers. And look at all the things you could see, all the things you could do. But now she sees it in retrospect as wasted her potential for creating a family. Wasted. 35 years old. That's not a good place to be. At 35, thinking, man, I done wasted the prime, we're going to see here, the prime years of her life. Here's her story. I have no family nearby, no long-term relationship built on years of mutual growth and shared experiences, no children. While I make friends easily, I've left most of my friends behind in each city I've moved from while they've continued to grow deep roots, marriages, home ownerships, career growth, community, families, children. She has none of that. I have a few close girlfriends for which I'm grateful, but life keeps getting busier and our conversations are now months apart. Most of my nights are spent alone with my cat. Cue the cliche. How about we have that conversation with the young ladies? Like, doesn't that sound like a glamorous career? Is that what you want for your future? Because that's what you're going to get. My apathy is coming out in weird ways. I'm drinking too much, and when I do see my friends on occasion, I end up getting drunk and angry or sad or both and pushing them away. And the men I date, I feel pressure to make something of the relationship too soon, move in, get married. I have to have kids in a couple of years. Fun times. All the while still trying to be the 25-year-old I thought I was until it seemed like a moment ago. I used to think I was the one who had it all figured out. Adventurous life in the city, traveling the world, making memories. Now I feel incredibly hollow and foolish. Okay, that's real. That's reality. She gets into she did the research that we haven't done. We're making commentary on the obvious. But she has cohort facts. And look, I threw this out there on our Facebook page, and it's mostly Catholics in our audience. And there's been this wild debate going for the last week that I paid no attention to and not participated in. But they're going at it. I don't know but I've read a few of the comments. And again, total denial of facts. Why? I don't know. But probably because it's this shot for a false ideal, and it's brainwashing, it's conditioning of, do not trust a man with your future. You got to do it yourself. Men are not trustworthy, and we're going to see some more of that here in a second. So she talks about, how long it takes to have kids and all that, and so she subtract from 35 and you get 28 now. That's the median age of first marriage for women, but they're typically not getting married thinking they should quickly have a baby if they want one at all. And you see, what's happening is the numbers don't lie. You can't do anything about the numbers. You keep pushing that thing back, and your odds of having a family, the real family that you want, that you keep putting off, ends up being hard, very, very difficult to achieve. And some of the comments I was noticing, on our page was like, oh, I never wanted to have kids, or, they act like it's one size fits all. And again, feminine motherhood. If you don't want, then don't get married. Okay, but that's the primary purpose of marriage, according to church teaching. But I would be willing to go out on a limb and say that's a tiny minority of women, really. They happen to be the most vocal, obviously. We notice that. But they're not what's in the heart of most women. Because look at her research. 86% of women, of Americans, want at least 2 children. And delaying marriage, putting higher education and careers first, causes them not to live up to their family dreams. New York Times reported in February that the gap between the number of children women say they want to have, 2.7, I don't know how you have 7/10 of a child, but that's the number, and the number of children they will probably have, 1.8, has risen to the highest level in 40 years. You see, as I was talking to a priest recently, he was saying, there's people are having enough of this hogwash that they're being fed, and you're going to have on the rise of what people really don't realize what's behind this is Thomistic thought, Aquinas-driven kind of thought coming into the secular world to breathe a little breath of life here.